Although economic relations between Egypt and the United Arab Emirates, UAE, still appear stable and promising, the political dimension between the two countries is experiencing an unprecedented level of tension. This has pushed Cairo to take practical steps aimed at reducing the role of the UAE in the region, particularly in the Sudanese file, which today reflects the starkest divergence between the two sides. While Egypt openly and institutionally backs the Sudanese armed forces led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, treating him as the legitimate authority of the state, international reports accuse the UAE of supporting the rival side. The commander of the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo Hemeti. Despite Abu Dhabi's denial of any involvement in supplying his forces with weapons, the accusations continue to spread due to evidence emerging in multiple contexts, some presented by independent international organizations. One of the most notable reports came from Amnesty International, which documented the RSF's use of Chinese-made weapons, showing signs that they had reached Sudan through the UAE, including artillery imported exclusively by Abu Dhabi. These details were considered direct evidence that the alleged support was not merely a political accusation, but part of an actual supply chain. Media outlets also circulated a photograph of a Colombian passport containing an exit stamp from the UAE, described as part of a wider network facilitating the movement or recruitment of foreign fighters who participated in the conflict alongside the RSF, adding a new dimension to the alleged support. As events unfolded, additional reports emerged concerning an Emirati medical center in the Chadian city of Amjaras, initially described as serving Sudanese refugees. However, multiple sources indicated that the facility was being used to treat RSF fighters, suggesting a form of support that extends beyond weaponry to include medical care and logistical aid. These reports highlight that Chad and Libya have become transit points used to provide such support away from easily traceable direct routes. Against these accusations, a key question emerges. How has Egypt responded? Cairo does not view the conflict in Sudan as a mere internal crisis in a neighboring country, but as a challenge directly linked to its national security. The presence of an armed militia on its southern border, along with the potential spread of mercenary activity or weapons trafficking into Egyptian territory, is enough to make the issue a strategic threat. Consequently, Egypt's support for the Sudanese army stems from its recognition as the only accountable state institution. However, despite widespread talk of potential Egyptian military intervention, there is no evidence to date of Egyptian strikes targeting RSF forces or weapons shipments intended for them. Even the accusations made personally by Hemeti regarding alleged Egyptian airstrikes have not been backed by any independent proof, and Cairo has clearly denied such claims. By contrast, forces aligned with the Sudanese army announced the interception of a large weapons convoy destined for the RSF. Although this incident received wide public attention, it did not include any reference to Egyptian involvement, and reports that later claimed a joint Egyptian-Sudanese airstrike in El Fasher have not been verified. Thus, Egypt's influence in Sudan appears to be real, yet not through direct military action. Instead, it is shaping outcomes by reinforcing the legitimacy of the Sudanese army as the state's rightful authority, which effectively limits Hemeti's power and consequently reduces the role the UAE is accused of trying to empower. This trajectory gained momentum from a significant development involving Riyadh. During the Saudi Crown Prince's visit to Washington and his meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump, the Sudan issue was raised with emphasis on the need for a political solution that preserves the state and its institutions. This indicates that Saudi Arabia shares Egypt's stance in supporting Sudanese legitimacy, implying that Abu Dhabi, despite its resources and networks, finds itself outside a forming Egyptian-Saudi-American consensus, reducing its influence in a conflict where it once hoped to assert greater leverage.